Right, so just an ACC. I'm just continuing off a season that I'm currently in. Basically, I'm doing a full season against the AI. Let's just drive and stop talking. And the reason I'm doing this is because I've taken this particular car. It's the McLaren 720S, and I'm doing a online league in this car. Now, normally, I used to drive the Lamborghini, but I thought, what better way to get acquainted with a car than to actually race it in a season across sprint and endurance races. And the good thing about ACC is that we can literally from the pause menu at any point during a race go in and save our progress in that race. So we can, I'm going to be doing, like, this is the 3 hours of Monza.
That was 158.04.
This is the 3 hours of Monza, so you can see, like, there's 2 hours left, but I can save this whenever.
Right side. Clear right.
But there'll be other races, other endurance races, like the 24 hours of Spa that I'll be doing. I might do that over a week, maybe. But yeah, it's just to get acquainted with this car. The reason for this video then is just to show kind of what ACC is good at, really. So I suppose a few things. The AI, as you can see, is really good. I've gone with probably too much of a high downforce setup for Monza, even though it's wet. And I think the AI actually have to measure off me.
The gap to Marciello ahead is increasing. It's now 14 seconds.
Yeah, and you can see, like, you can see in the middle sector I tend to pull away a tiny bit, but on the straights they just pull it back. But I think over the lap,
Vervic is gaining on you. The gap is now 0.22.
That's Vervic behind, trying to defend on the wet line. He's still there.
Okay, Gary, don't let this guy distract you. Your front tyres are cold. Fastest lap for Engel, 156.26.
Starting to feel the pressure now.
New fastest lap for Marciello, 155.83.
In the braking zones you can feel the steering going light because the back of the car is trying to come around, and you have to kind of obviously keep trail braking in it, but yeah, it's
You've just done a 159.00.
oh, this is not good.
He's still there. Clear left.
I think the tiny bit more, well, I say tiny bit more, it's probably a lot more by the looks of things on the straight. I think the extra downforce that I'm running is allowing me to just get on the brakes that bit later, because the car's been pushed into the ground a little bit more.
Still there. Clear left.
I need to just run wide and block him off there. We'll switch back, no doubt. Yeah, so people saying that racing the AI and some sims and stuff is kind of boring. ACC is particularly good, I have to say. Of course, the online is really great as well. I think ACC at the moment is blessed with being one of the more popular sims, and I can see why.
The leader's just done a 156.05.
The physics are really good. Like, I mean, anyone that's driven a kind of modified kind of performance car or like a sports car or whatever will notice the way the cars behave and heave, and kind of on the brakes, and the way the front can typically wash out unless you go an extreme kind of soft front end, in which case the back will try to come around under brakes. So yeah, it's true to life. Like, I'm not a real life racing driver or anything like that, but I do know from driving like performance cars
Good lap. Your quickest today.
how a car should want to behave in certain circumstances. And ACC, in my opinion, have got it pretty good. Like certainly the best, I think, out of all the sims in terms of like actual sports car racing. But yeah, I mean, look, varieties to spice the life. I use iRacing and AC1 and stuff, and I think.
Okay, Gary, we estimate you've got 5 minutes of fuel remaining.
I think they all complement each other. Like what I learn from them, I use in this. So yeah, it's all G. But and the good thing is, I think those lads are fighting among themselves, which gives me a bit of breathing room. But I will have a pit stop coming up in a moment. Just checking.
The gap to Marciello ahead is increasing. It's now 19 seconds.
So I'm going to take on about 100 litres of fuel. We're going to go on the silhouette tyres.
Has just done a 155.88. Tyre temps are good.
Just a quick one on pit stops in endurance racing. So follows the real GT3 series where there's, you know,
It's getting closer. The gap's now 1.1 seconds.
You know, 3 drivers typically in a race like this. So at each pit stop, a driver swaps car, if you like, swaps into the car, and there'll be a tyre change, a fuel change. There's also a sprint series that run alongside.
That was 157.40. That's your best lap in this session. We're running on fumes, mate. Box this lap, please, Gary.
Yeah, in which case then, like, I think after, like, you know, between 25 and 35 minutes of a 1 hour sprint race, there's a mandatory pit stop. Even though it's not needed by the car, like the car will easily go beyond that with its tyres and fuel and stuff, but there's a mandatory pit stop for tyres only, or for tyres rather, in those races. Probably should have pitted that lap before, but yeah, I actually have to pit this lap anyway, so there is no fuel left in the car. I've got 3.9 litres.
Very little fuel left. Come into the pits at the end of this lap. Box this lap.
Okay, time for pits, and get ready for the pit limiter.
Watch your speed.
Okay, we'll take that. The cool thing here is, like real life, you also have to knock the engine off. Have a manual clutch as well, which is kind of cool. Paddle shift, using a Formula V2 with the DD2 wheel. Yeah, that's quite cool, isn't it? So in the car, position 14 there, Wilkinson, and then we're changing to Barnicoat. So
the pit exit looks clear. cold tyres. We need to get some heat into them.
Yeah, so that's that. That's a couple of laps in ACC, including the pit stop. So yeah, I think I'll save this on the next straight. I'll probably head to bed for a while because it's late here. It's like 12:45 at night. But yeah, just thought I'd come out, do a couple of laps, show everyone what this is all about. Yeah, tricky in the wet, I have to say.
That's the new fastest lap for Haas, 1:55.24.
Yeah, I think this is a race though in general that I'm not going to fare too well, and I probably will drop down the field a bit more.
Chavez behind is now 11 seconds.
Basically, if you think the front runners are doing like 155s and I'm in the like 157, 58s or thereabouts. Yeah, just I think the setup is not great. I can't really do a lot.
You've got cold front tyres.
I can't do a lot more with it.
Ward ahead is pitting.
Yeah, I think I'll save it on the start-finish straight.
Okay, Gary, there's a car exiting the pits, heads up. P23. The leader, Engel, is pitting. Car right, clear right.
Okay, so we'll save it there. Yeah, all we do is hit save. And yeah, tomorrow when I pop back in or whatever, I'll be able to just continue where I left off. But let's have a quick replay of the bit of the race we did do. I mean, yeah, it's great graphically. Like I have all the settings like running at max or epic, maximum viewing distances and all that sort of stuff. One of the benefits I think of having the 3090 on a new machine I had to get recently. Just the previous one decided not to turn on one day, and yeah, here we are. You can see like the AI even fighting among themselves, like it's you know, even back here, like the Bentley in the background and the Mercedes and stuff, fights all the way through the field, you know. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good, and hats off to Kunos for producing this. You know, it's and continually updated as well, which is great. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. It's great online, really good standard online as well. But it's cool that you can also come offline and do AI races and stuff like that, and still have like really great battles. And trying to overtake them is just as fun. It's just as much fun as well. But unfortunately, in this race, that's probably not going to happen because the setup or me, it's just not up to it. But you know, in other races, I've often battled AI for a number of laps, sometimes successfully, sometimes unsuccessfully. But in all cases, like it's always been tough. It's never been easy. And yeah, it's really good stuff. Yeah, cool. Look, I'll leave it there. And maybe, you know, I'll plan to maybe upload some more videos like of ACC, maybe some iRacing for NASCAR. I like iRacing for NASCAR. But yeah, I guess we'll leave it there, guys. And yeah, I suppose keep an eye. I will upload more videos over the coming days, weeks, and I'll probably do a stream tomorrow of that Formula Hybrid thing that I'm doing. So yeah. as I always say, may your laps be fast.